since it's past 12. What I'd like to do is welcome everyone to Friday, December 3rd, our Zoom meeting that we have once a month. I have this big thing in front of my screen. Okay, here we go. So our club's mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. At this point, I will introduce myself. I'm the president, and if you're not speaking, please mute so that we don't hear background noise. We have a fun meeting today. Our theme is winter holiday travels, and I will let our Toastmaster explain the rest. So I will turn this over to our wonderful Toastmaster, Alex. There he is.
Thank you very much, Madam President. It's a pleasure for me to be your Toastmaster. I have a unique role tonight because this is my first role as a Toastmaster at Expressions Unlimited. So I hope that you will bear with me as I lead you through my story of winter holiday travels. Now, as the winter days are coming over, we tend to dwell on where we might travel this winter, or maybe reminisce on our previous winter travels. As the cold weather is not really a thing in California, I would like to take you today on some of the adventures that I would like to travel myself over the winter holidays. Let me share my screen for more of the information about that. And if my president would allow me to share the screen, I would appreciate that.
Oh, that would be Devin. She will do that.
Awesome. Thank you very much,
You're
Devin.
good to go.
I've picked 3 main places of my favorite winter travels where I would like to do, hopefully within the next few years. The first place is located in Dolomites, Italy. Now, Dolomites is a cozy cousin of the Alps located in Central Europe. The really, really harsh cold winter weather does not necessarily make it so cozy for the travelers who go there, as it is quite hard to get there. It's a perfect one-day trip away from Venice, Italy, driving up north over the famous 86-mile Dolomites Highway, which creates absolutely majestic views as you get up there. You can rent a cabin, or you can stay in the beautiful hotels right at the foothills of the Alpine Mountains. Overnight, the small city of Dolomites lights up, and the nightlife is just absolutely amazing over there. Lots of bars, restaurants open up, people get out on the streets and go either to ski resorts or spend time with some friends and watching movies at home. It is absolutely majestic place to be around, and it is quite a unique experience to be there during the winter, as the fun fact about Dolomites says that it is one of the snowiest places in the entire country of Italy, meaning that they get probably the most amount of snow in the entire region of Alps in the northern Italy. Moving away from the cold weather and traveling off the coast of Italy toward the Americas, we hit the Caribbean, the tiny little island of Anjulia. Anjuila is a place that is located just north of Saint Martin, which is part of the British overseas territory in the Caribbean. This is the place which is the ultimate getaway. You can literally get away from everything. The island is completely secluded, and the amount of travelers that go there during the winter is severely limited, especially during these times of COVID. The island offers luxurious hotels, empty bays, lots of water adventures, and nice warm weather during the winter. It is an absolutely perfect honeymoon spot, and for the people who just want to spend time alone on a luxury vacation time. It is one of my dream places to go to, by the way. And the third place is Lisbon, Portugal. Lisbon has been considered quite underrated during the travel times, even before COVID pandemic. Not as many tourists visit Portugal due to its poor socioeconomic status, but I tell you that I have many friends who live in Portugal, and they've been telling me all kinds of amazing stories about its historic architecture, its amazing marina, and the people are so nice and friendly over there that most of my friends who live there, they just travel to Portugal, to Lisbon, to spend some time and talk to people on the streets because of how fun it is and how entertaining it is to hear the stories of people who live there. It is a beautiful place to visit for museums, eat some local food, and simply enjoy the peaceful time in the absence of massive crowds of tourists, which mostly hit Northern and Central Europe. Now, with that, I'd like to remind you all to use the word wanderlust, which our grammarian will also follow up on. So without further ado, I'd like to explain the structure of our meeting. Our meeting is divided into 3 parts. The first part is the prepared speeches, where today, unfortunately, we only have 1 speaker. The next part is our table topics, where we practice our impromptu speaking and thinking on our feet. And the third part will be our evaluations, where our speakers will receive a feedback, and the rest of the people who participate in this meeting will hear the feedback on what we did good and what we missed on. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my 3 important functionaries of the day. We'll begin with our A counter, Pamela. Pamela, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Pamela, and I will be listening to any ums, ahs, buts, and things like that. Thank you.
Our next functionary is our grammarian, Megan. Megan, would you introduce yourself? And you're on mute, Megan.
Sorry. Thanks. Okay, I will be the grammarian today, which will point out any unusual uses of the English language, whether it be good or bad. And I will just bring it to your attention so that you will be more observant of that in the future.
Thank you, Megan. And the reminder, the word of the day is wanderlust.
Oh, wanderlust. I can't see it, can you?
Yeah, we can see it.
Wanderlust. Okay.
Thank you, Megan. And our third very important functionary is our timer. And our timer today is Devin. Devin?
As timer, I will be timing the prepared speeches, the evaluators, and table topics. So you want to look for the green to show when you have reached the qualifying time, and then be aware when you start to hit yellow and red that it's time to wrap it up.
Thank you very much, Madam Timer. And the last but not the least, General Evaluator, Lucille. Lucille?
Hi, everybody. I'm the general evaluator, and I will introduce the evaluator, which we only have 1 speaker. So I gathered that would be Deanna, who's going to evaluate Charles later. And then at the end of the meeting, I'm going to make comments as to how the meeting went, and also make a comment on how the evaluator did their evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucille. And now I would like to proceed with the joke of the day. And our joke master today is Pamela. Pamela, make us laugh today. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I didn't realize that was me. I thought it was just, aha, what a joke. Joke's on me, right? Okay, let me think. I had a joke. 1 second. I'm sorry. I totally messed up. And now I'm really nervous and I can't even think about it. I have one, but I don't know if it's appropriate.
Go for it.
Fire it up.
All right. So there's a couple, I'm always with these dirty jokes. Okay. So there's this couple and they are, dating and all the things. And the young lady invites the boyfriend over to her home for dinner to meet the family and all that. And so, he's all excited. So he goes to the pharmacy and he's going to get some protection, right? He's like, oh, I think, I'm meeting the parents. That means it's like next step. So I'm going to buy some stuff. So he goes to the pharmacist and he says, oh, I'm going to go meet my girlfriend's parents. I think tonight's the night. And he goes, I want to buy some condoms. And he goes, okay, well, there's a, how many do you want? A big box, small box, medium box? He goes, well, I'll just go medium, just in case. I'm so excited. So he goes, he's got his goods in his bag, and he goes to the house for dinner, and they're all sitting around, and right before they eat, he says, I'm going to pray. I'm going to say grace. And he says this really beautiful prayer, just like so moving. And the girlfriend looks at the boyfriend and says, gosh, honey, I didn't know you prayed like that. You didn't tell me you were religious. And he says to her, you didn't tell me your father was a pharmacist.
I would say that all was only half dirty. So that counts.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pamela. That was great. Okay, before I proceed, I want to confirm Jesse Kiko joined us for the meeting. Are you a guest, Jesse?
No, I'm just a wanderlust member.
Wonderful. That counts. Bonus points for using the word of the day. Well, it's good to have you. Thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
want to make sure we don't miss any guests before we proceed with the meeting. Well, now it is time. It is time for part one of our meeting. We will proceed with our famous speaker, Charles Bradshaw. Charles will be giving away the project story that is engaging and interesting. He also wants to use the speech to work on his pacing and time pauses. The time for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and the title is My Real Life After School Special. Charles Bradshaw, My Real Life After School Special.
Thank you, Alex. And actually, I'll be taking the liberty of going from 8 to 10 minutes because it's quite the story. When I was a kid, they had, I got school specials, usually involved young people who made either one or a series of bad decisions, ended up in a predicament, and they needed to take action to get out of it. In the end, they learned how to get out of the situation, and they were much better after they got through it. For me, my after school special involved my trip to Tijuana after my senior cruise. This story starts out in 1994. It was a time that I'll never forget in my life. It was an exciting year, senior year. Life was about to have a lot of transitions, and this was a big part of that transition. To take you back to 1994 in San Diego and Tijuana, it was similar to it is now. Tijuana is a border community. There's a lot of issues with smuggling. There's a lot of issues with drugs, corrupt police. But the biggest thing that was overarching Tijuana that year was the assassination of a political candidate on the streets of Tijuana. There was a lot of tension. And looking back, it probably wasn't the best idea to go down there. But when you're 18 years old and the only place you can drink legally is Mexico, you're on your way. We had our senior cruise, had a lot of fun dancing and having, good times, good music, but we wanted to not let the evening end. A large group of us, some of us drove to the entertainment district in Tijuana. Others of us parked on the United States side and walked over to where all the bars and clubs were. When we got there, it was exactly as we hoped. It was fun. Coronas were $2 for $1. They had these drinks, cranberry orange things called Sex on the Beach. It was so much fun. It was everything I wanted to do with all the people who I enjoyed high school with. It was an unbelievable experience. Totally met expectations, which is very hard to do for seniors in high school. However, it was not going to stay that way. One of my friends, Sloan Bryles, very interesting guy, started moshing. And moshing, slam dancing, they were playing some heavy metal music, and he started running around the club and slamming into people. Well, the other customers in the club didn't like it, the DJ didn't like it, security didn't like it. He got thrown out. After he got thrown out, we all go out to go talk to him, find out if we can get him in. And security was like, no way. He's got to calm down. He's had too much to drink. 30 minutes. Okay. Let's talk then. So we're hanging out, talking to him, finding out what's the next thing we're going to do. Because all of our friends are inside this one club. But something doesn't feel quite right. We see a couple arguing in the corner, and it's escalating. The next thing I know, I see this very, very big college student reach back and punch a young lady in the face. She's knocked down, and we're just floored. We didn't know what to do. You know, we'd heard all the stories about Tijuana. You don't want to get arrested. So we all just kind of froze. Next thing you know, out of the corner of my eye, I see this white flash, and I see a man running towards the young lady. We don't know what's going to happen. Like, you know, we already saw violence. We're afraid we're going to see it again. My friend Sloan, who just got kicked out of the club, grabbed the man, spun him around, and we froze because we said, Sloan, let go. That is a cop. Everyone stood still, time stood still. Next thing we know, he's getting handcuffed and in a phone booth. And as he's in the phone booth, they're literally slamming him face first into the phone booth. So, you know, we're scared. He's getting hurt. One of my friends gets too close to the arresting officer, and he says, hey, don't do that. He's a good kid. He made a mistake. My good friend Jay Bartletti, well-intentioned, wrong place, wrong situation, wrong thing to do. They said, grab him. And now we're just, oh my gosh, 2 of our friends are going to jail. This is unbelievable. Please don't let this happen. We tried some transactions that probably you should not attempt with police officers. And they said, no way. This is a big thing that just happened. Needless to say, they said, you'll have to bail him out, go down to the jail. We went in, got a collection from everyone. And for some reason, it started to rain at 1 o'clock in the morning in May in Tijuana. I'd never seen that happen before, but of course it was going to rain on us that night. We walked to the jail, and they say, yeah, they're not getting out for 72 hours. Assaulting a cop is just that bad. We go back to the club with our heads held low, and we say, well, I guess we just got to go home with leaving our friends in Mexico. One of my friends who drove over offered to give us a ride back to the US side. When we get to her car, we see that it's been broken into, and everyone who she came with had everything stolen. So all their bags were gone. Now we have this station wagon filled with our friends who not only lost 2 friends, but lost a bunch of personal items. I don't know that anyone was crying at that point, but everyone was really sad. We pile into the car, and as we're driving towards the border, we're driving home, the windows are starting to get fogged up, and you really can't, visibility is really low because there's so many people in the car. My friend signals to turn right. Unfortunately, it was turning right on a wrong way street. Of course, the cops were there to pull us over. I really don't think they were really concerned about drunk driving, because when they pulled us over, they asked for registration, license, and if she'd been drinking, they gave my friend a piece of paper and they said, blow on it, we'll smell your breath. She passed that test, but they said, you need to go back to the station for us to write you a ticket. Now, we were all scared, and we just pretty much started to panic at this point. We thought this night was never going to end. And as most spontaneous trips to Tijuana are, our parents didn't know where we were. So it was even more risky than any of us had ever thought. Needless to say, he gets behind us and tells us to drive straight ahead and he will tell us to go left or right to bring us back to the police station. Once we get to halfway there, there's an accident on the road. He tells us to pull over to the right, and he goes to the left. Of course, we were not going to be pulling over. We said, Alma, punch it, let's get out of here. So we literally ran from the cops in a station wagon through the streets of Tijuana to get to the US side of the border. Finally, once we got on US soil, I had been never so happy in my life to see Border Patrol agents. But there was still work to do. Once we got to the US side, we had to get back to my house and tell my friend's parents that their children were in Tijuana in jail. Thank goodness their parents were very understanding. And one of them was actually, is actually a Pulitzer Prize winning photographer who's been incarcerated internationally many times. We spoke to them and they said they would take care of it. The last thing I remember from that night was my head hitting the pillow and my dad's alarm going off, getting ready to wake up for his next day. In the end, my friends got out the next morning and it made for a very great story. Like any after school special, there's always lessons learned. And there's two of them that stick out the most to me in this situation. There's probably about 80 lessons learned. Don't go to Mexico, blah, blah, blah. However, for me, always staying calm under stressful situations is essential, especially if there's international implications. Keeping our head was the only way that we got back. But number two, having the right people on the bus. The book Good to Great talks about having the right people on the bus and how it's essential for success. For me, having friends that I could work with cooperatively to get out of that situation, and now 25 years later, having a great story to tell is probably one of the best things that I learned from my night out in Tijuana. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. That was one heck of an after school story. Madam Timer, if we can get 1 minute for the evaluations, please. Thank you very much, Madam Timer. Madam Timer, did the speaker qualify?
Yes, by the skin of his teeth, 1027.
Awesome. Congrats, Chuck. Great job. And now I believe it's time to move on to our second portion of the meeting. And it is time for our general evaluator to fill in my spot. General Evaluator Lucille, the floor is yours. Feel free to take the lead.
Thank you, Alex. It is my pleasure to introduce our evaluator, Deanna, who is going to evaluate Charles today. Deanna, please take.
Charles, that was an amazing story. Oh my gosh, I couldn't wait to hear all the description of what was going to happen that evening. It just kept me on the seat of my chair. And it's like that evening would never end, one event after the other. So absolutely, yes, you fulfilled your goal of wanting to tell a story and having to tell stories within a story because there was so many of them. Fantastic job. If I were to pick out some things, it was pretty tough to pick out anything, quite frankly. The first thing, I did like how you explained what an after-school special is. I still didn't quite understand what it was because I was in my mind, I was thinking of the ABC school special, but it sounded like the after-school special was kind of a lesson that you learn. I'm not quite sure about that, but just something very minor. You did excellent descriptions. You explained TJ very well. I got a good understanding of what it looked like. And I just loved how you chose your words. It was excellent how you really made us feel like we were part of the whole evening. So much to the point that I was getting nervous for you. My goodness. Your gestures, your voice variety was really good. If anything, if you stood up, I think your gestures could be accentuated a little bit more. I would recommend just pushing yourself to the envelope of maybe doing some over exaggeration just so that you can get the feel of it. And then you can always dial back later, but at least kind of give yourself the opportunity to free yourself and go a little bit more crazy on your gestures. For example, when you said our heads held low, you could really kind of say that, our heads held low, but still excellent storytelling. And I like your summary, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna. Now I'd like to return the floor to our Toastmaster, Alex.
Thank you very much, Lucille. Yeah, Chuck is quite a wanderlust today, huh? That was very impressive. Okay, and moving directly into the table topics with our third portion of the meeting. And our table topics master today is Stacy, our president. Stacy, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Alex. I'm so excited to be Table Topics Master today because I just love this whole creativity of thinking up, well, you thought up the theme and I thought up the word, and it's just a fun part of the meeting. So Wanderlust is a really good acronym, not acronym, but a synonym for travel. And my story is that I've been to Europe, I've been to Canada, Mexico, Jamaica, Grand Cayman, and various other islands in the Caribbean. And I know that Alaska is not another country, but if you haven't been there, you should put it on your list. I truly believe that travel helps you to expand your imagination and bring home more than just souvenirs. What you bring home are beautiful memories that last a lifetime. I consider myself a wanderlust, and I still have lots of desire to travel, even if it's just the U.S. The U.S. is a grand country with so many places to explore. I really don't think that you can see all of them in one lifetime. So here's my questions, and we're going to have fun today. I think I'll start out with Jessie, since we haven't seen Jessie in a while. Jessie, some folks travel a lot and some don't. Which one are you and why?
Oh, hi, everybody. And thank you for that question, Stacy. It's so good to see everybody again. Well, my wanderlust has been throughout my whole life. And I would say I'm a person that travels a lot. That maybe during COVID is not quite so much. And I just love traveling because you get to see new places and you get to meet new people and mostly the culture. I love learning about new cultures and I love seeing the scenery that's in different countries. And you can tell a lot from the culture by the scenery and the landscape and, the buildings and architecture and how everything has been created and developed over the years and in many cases over the centuries. And I am a natural born wanderlust, I think, because I've always loved to travel. Even when I was in Kansas, where I grew up, I couldn't wait to get to Colorado, which was only one state over. But I loved living in Colorado. And then went to Iowa and went to college. And then I came out to California and then, traveled many parts of the world since then. One of my favorites was Peru, seeing the Machu Picchu, and Bolivia and Argentina. And that's why. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much, Jessie. Great answer. Okay, moving right along, I think we will go to Megan. Megan, are you ready? You are unmuted. So, Megan, how much of the U.S. have you seen? And what's your favorite place to visit and why?
Okay, thank you, Stacy. As you said, as you know, Alaska is in America, but we should see it. I really think that my mom was an Eastern Airlines flight attendant, so we flew for free. Like when I was younger, we've been to many states, but I think like Alaska, well, not really but going to Georgia, going to the South, and then to California, it is like going to a different country. I promise you, if anyone has been to the South, it is a different country coming over here. But I mean, I guess the South needs to teach California what rain looks like. And but I love it over here, and I love the other states also. Stacy, I don't know. I've been to a lot of different states, but this definitely is the biggest difference. Another country in California, but I love it. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Megan. All right. Let me go to someone who doesn't have a role today. Maybe Evie? How would you like a question?
Sure.
Evie. I happen to love other cultures just because they're different and interesting. And what is your favorite culture, and have you gone to visit where they live?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Stacy. I would say probably my favorite culture so far, or I would say my favorite country so far, has been Costa Rica. I love that place so much, right? I was like, yeah, I mean, what an amazing place. And the people there, oh my God, they're so sweet. They're so friendly, totally gorgeous environment, amazing rainforest, the ocean, mountains, different rivers with all types of critters on the side, crocodiles and monkeys in the trees. I mean, it's such a gorgeous place. And add to that, the totally amazing, friendly people that are always willing to help, even though you don't fully speak the language, which is my case. And just the food is totally amazing as well. Abundance of the food everywhere, and people, I just found people to be very friendly, very generous with their time and efforts and help. And I mean, if there was one place where I could see myself retiring besides the US, it would be Costa Rica. And actually, when I was there, I was sitting on a beach and I was looking at the apartments on my phone, like, what's for rent around here? Like, can I work remotely before COVID? Like, can I live in this place? It was just so amazing. So Costa Rica definitely on top of my list of cultures and countries as well. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great answer. Thank you very much. I have a friend who just traveled to Peru alone, and she's having a blast. Maybe she's doing a tour bus while she's there, but as far as I know, she went alone. Angelus, are you one who's always traveled with someone, or are you happy going solo as well?
Thank you, Stacy. I have great wanderlust to travel all over the world. Due to my immigration status, I can't leave the United States, but wherever I do go, I love going like everywhere alone. Like I went to New York City, well, New York overall. I drove like 8 hours from New York to Rhode Island one time and I explored all through there. I went through like the colleges. I went to Yale and explored there a bit. Even in California, I love driving the desert, mountains, coming back, go to the beach. Um, I would love to go outside the country. I applied for advanced parole, meaning I am requesting permission, leave the United States and come back. One of my things that in my list is visiting the ruins in Mexico, learn more about my culture. And I'm planning doing that alone. So that's something. I mean, I love doing things alone. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you. I love that. I think I picked the right person for that question. Okay, I'm going to go to Greg. Greg, road trips. I absolutely love road trips, and I've done them solo. So one of the reasons I don't mind solo is because if I want to pull off the road and take a photograph, I don't have to ask permission from anybody else in the car. So, Greg, what's your take on road trips?
Oh, I love road trips. I've had wanderlust my whole life, actually. I call it itchy feet. My mom had it and I have it. I have either driven my car wheels or stepped foot in all 50 states now. I admit that when I say car wheels, some states, since I've tried to get to all 50, I've just zinged around the corner to get into the state and then out and not stopped. But otherwise, I've stood up in all 50 states. I have really not until recently been able to get overseas. And I was looking for these years in my old age to cruise overseas every year. We've already missed one. I hope we can make it this year. But I've driven cross country, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. I got on the 80, which goes through Reno. I've got on the 80 in New York City and got off of it in San Francisco. And what a trip that was. 3,000 miles approximately, takes a week or so. And oh yeah, on the open road. I don't know if I could do that now, my old age, but I love road trips. I certainly do. This couple of years has been kind of hard on me, actually. I've only had done one trip. When the cases dwindle down, I snuck in one trip for a week and that's about it. So I'm getting pretty itchy feet one of these days. So I'm going to go somewhere. Yep,
Great.
that's it.
Is that it? Thank you. Great answer, Greg. I figured you were a wanderlust.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's see, Pamela, I have a question for you. Are you a photographer who documents every part of your trip, or you just enjoy the trip without taking massive amounts of photos? And what do you do with your photos when you get home if you are one of those?
Thank you for this great question. I was going to take a sneak peek at my phone to tell you how many thousands and thousands of photos are on my phone. I have extreme wanderlust. Any opportunity I have to leave the country, I am on an airplane. It's almost become an addiction. And what I've learned through my photography, my phone being full, I've had to upgrade my memory, my storage on my phone, my Apple, this and that, and all the things just to store it. I have extraordinary photographs. I mean, they almost look professional, thanks to my fabulous phone, not anything special with me. I don't print them. I don't ever print them. What's up with that? I do have a little project that I like to do at the end of the year for my friends, family, and clients. I create holiday cards and I put highlights of that year, specific trips that I've taken, and I mail those out as a greeting card. And the other thing I do is I create a calendar for my family, specific scenery, nice, birthday celebration or memorable trips we took along the year. I really don't print very many photos though. I need to put that on my to-do list for 2022. Maybe I'll make a book out of it. Travel book of my own. Thank you for the question.
There you go. Thank you. Great answer. I use a service that prints little books. So you could take one of your trips and maybe print a book out of it. So I could share that with you later. Okay, I think we have time for one more. And I think who I'm going to go to now is going to be Lucille. There you go. Lucille, have you gone to Asia or Europe? Can you tell us about your experience or why you haven't been there if you haven't been? Let's hear it for Lucille.
Thank you for that wonderful question, Stacy. I am a wanderlust, and at the same time, I'm also a homebody, so I can be happy either way. But as far as traveling is concerned, I've been to Europe, been to Asia. In one of my wonderful favorite trip in Italy, it's one of my favorite area to go, is Cinque Terre, which is five cities. I love it because it's like there's no cars. You have to walk from one city to the next. So that's my favorite one. As far as Asia, I have been to the Philippines. I've been to Japan. I haven't been to China, and I haven't been to Malaysia or other part of the Asian country, but Japan is a little bit just limited. I did a little bit of travel there, but most of my travel is in Europe. I've been to Barcelona, I've been to Spain, Madrid, but Italy is my favorite one. And I haven't been to what is that, Alex? I forgot the name, but I will let Colomites, yes. I would love to go there. That would be on my bucket list. And I haven't been to Lisbon, Portugal. I've heard a lot about that area as well. So that would be my next one. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Lucille. Everybody did such a great job. It makes me want to get in the car and go right now. So I'm going to turn the meeting back over to our wonderful Toastmaster Alex, and we can take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Table Topics Master. Thank you, everyone, for being such a wonderful wanderlust. Wonderful wanderlust. I like that. Madam Timer, can we please get a report for our table topics and how we did today?
Yeah, everybody qualified today on time.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And Madam Grammarian, can we get a report on our use of the word of the day?
You have to unmute yourself.
Megan?
All right, sorry. I think that everyone did, except it'd be better, I don't know, good to say who everyone knows. I think, do I name who did or who didn't?
Just tell us who the word of the day.
The word of the day is wanderlust.
Well,
who used it?
Who used it?
Okay. Deanna, Stacy, Jesse, Angelus, Greg, Pam, Lucille, and Alex. I didn't, and I don't know if Evie did. Evie, did you?
I did not either. I was so thinking about it that I have to use it in the first sentence if I get called on. And of course, when the topic came out, I got excited about Costa Rica, and I forgot to mention.
I didn't use it either.
Well, thank you, Megan. We appreciate it. Thank you for your report. And now I believe it's time to vote for our best speaker, our evaluator, and our table topics speaker. So, Madam Timer today, Devin, would you mind opening the polls for us? Thank you very much, Madam Timer. And now I would like to call on for the reports from our functionaries. And we will begin with our counter. Pamela, would you like us to give you a report?
Yes. Thank you. So I'm just exaggerating the things I was counting. I got a whole bunch too. I was really paying attention. Megan, I had 4 ums from you. Greg, and 1 but. Stacy, I have 2 uhs, some so's, and an. Charles, and it's your favorite. Whole bunch of ums. 3. Lucille, I had an 3 and a but. Ivy, you were so excited. I excused all your ums, especially because you talked about Costa Rica. So you had all perfect.
Yeah.
And then Angela's, you liked the ums as well. You had a handful of them as well. But everyone did phenomenal. Thank you. I'm sure I had a whole bunch too, but I didn't count myself.
I'm sure I did too. Thank you, Pamela, so much. Appreciate it. Our grammarian, back to Megan.
I see. Alex, your first time Toastmaster. I love the visuals. Italy and Portugal. Wait, I'm doing Deanna, your excitement, and Jesse, many countries that you've lived in. Angeles, you love doing things alone. And Greg, what I really loved what you said about itchy feet. And Lucille, no, the place where you wanted, or no cars, or in the area of Italy or something. I just wrote that down. I don't know. And I think that's it. Right.
Thank you so much, Megan. Appreciate it. Great notes. And now our general evaluator. It is time to hear your feedback, Lucille.
Thank you, Alex. Wonderful job as a Toastmaster. I know this is your first time in our club, but this is not your first time as a Toastmaster because I know you're a member of another club. Excellent job, so fluent, transition are well done. I love it when the theme and the word of the day actually goes together. So apparently you communicated with the table topics master. I really like that. I really like that when that falls in together. Our evaluator, Deanna, absolutely wonderful how you did an evaluation for Charles. You always have good positive feedback to give, and also trying to find good area where they can improve. That is very important for all of us to develop and polish our speaking skills. I know I need that as well a lot. So I really appreciate that when somebody gives a really good feedback and a little bit critical. For all of us who's been working on advanced manuals, we should really be a little bit more specific and allow speakers to have a take home that they can work on. Overall, great job. Table topics master, wonderful questions. I've always loved it. Stacey's always good in picking up this question. So I appreciate it so much. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Lucille. Thank you so much for that useful feedback. And now it is time to present our awards. And for that, I want to invite Devin, who collected the feedback, to announce our table topics winner. Devin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Alex. So our table topics winner of the day is Greg. His wonderful story about itchy feet. I love that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Devin. Well, it was my pleasure to serve you as the Toastmaster, and I look forward to doing it again in the future. But for now, it is time to pass the control to our wonderful president, Stacy. Stacy?
Thank you, Alex. Great job. These meetings just go by so fast. I have a few things for us to think about today, and one of the items that came up last week was whether we should continue to do the Zoom once a month. And since we didn't have as many people at the meeting last week, and because we weren't on Zoom last week, we thought we would bring that up again today, maybe for a little discussion or a vote or both. So I'll open up the table for anybody that might want to say something, and we'll see where it goes from there. Anybody have any opinions, or should we just vote? Okay, Megan, you got to unmute. You can use your space bar too. You can hold your finger on the space bar. It's quick. Just hold it down. You're still not unmuted.
Yeah.
There you go.
I want to, it's good, not every time. I know how that it is not, it's good once a month to have it on Zoom. Of course, I would like it to be more than once, but because of my driving inabilities, and that hurts me with my wanderlust because I can't get anywhere. So it would be good to, I want to say that not everyone has most people can drive, so they can get there. But it would be good, I think, to continue meeting online at least once as a minimum.
Okay.
Please, let's still stay on Zoom.
Okay.
That's
good.
my
Thank you.
soapbox.
Let's see your point. How about Devin?
So I would also vote for keeping it, more for practice. I don't know about everybody else's jobs, but it's very clear in mine. It's not going away, virtual meetings anytime soon. So I think it is kind of nice to have this regular practice of, what it's like to present virtually and have that option for us as well.
Okay, thank you. Lucille?
I feel the same way with Devin. It's because for that reason as well. And for the other reason is we have some members that are not able to join us in person, such as Greg and Kiko. And so this is the only opportunity they have. And maybe some other people that are working that cannot be physically there because they are traveling. But if they have time during that break that they have for an hour, then they can still join us online. So I think it's good to have it for 1 year, especially now that we're still not really sure what's going on. So for that reason, one reason is to continue practice because a lot of organizations are going hybrid. And so it's still good to have that because we're losing that if we don't practice. But we also need to meet in person because we're going to lose that one if we don't practice meeting in person. So yes, I support meeting once a month.
Okay, how about Pamela?
I really love what you both said about having the practice for online because we're going to keep in this format. I also have severe wanderlust, and I love that I can be in Costa Rica or Italy on the first Friday and be with you. No matter what the time zone is, I get to be with you. I did that when I was doing I'm in a BNI group, and I was living in Costa Rica, and I was able to do the Zoom every week, even when I was in Turkey. I mean, it was odd times, but I think it allows kind of like that I can still be with you guys. So I'm a yes for keeping it once a month.
Yes.
Okay, great points. I'm really starting to go the other way. Yeah, I think that the Zoom is a good thing. Yes, Lucille.
Just an additional. I because Devin, this is her account, but she's okay with it being. So I'm assuming she'll continue to do that. But Devin, if in any case, for whatever reason, you needed the time not able to do it, I am your backup. So just so
Great.
you know.
Cool. Anybody else? I think I see where this is going. Do we want to take a vote now? Is there anything else? No? Let's take a vote. Let's see how many would like to keep the Zoom. And hold your hands up long enough so I can count. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That looks like a majority to me. So let's say that we're going to keep it on the first Monday. Continue. All right. There we go. That's it. That was easy. The next thing I have on here is that every 6 months we can change officers if we want to. You don't, a lot of times our club keeps officers, they stay in the role for another 6 months, which makes it a year. And I want to say that I'm going to stay for another 6 months. But there are a few that would like to possibly open up their role, and I would like to bring it up that we might need to change to get some more people on the board to help us out. So next, I think we're gonna, not sure how this all goes, but I'd like to find out if anybody's interested in doing the VP of Education. Paul said if somebody else wants it, he'd be happy to give it up, but if not, he would be willing to continue. But if anybody wants to be VP of Education, it's a great role. Secretarial, Pat says he's really too busy to do it. And so if someone would like to step up for secretary, I will wait until, wait for about a week, and then next week announce who's going to be on the board. And if I don't hear from anybody, maybe I'll do some volunteering. What do you call it? Voluntold? Or at least ask, somebody if they would fill one of these roles. And then the third one is the Sergeant at Arms. And really, Christiana has too much on her plate to get to the meetings early. She's really working hard. So Sergeant at Arms is a pretty easy role to do. So I'd like to have someone volunteer for that. So there's about three. And the rest of them, Anita's going to stay as VP membership. I'm assuming Angelus is going to stay as PR. I don't know if I asked you. Did I ask? I might have got busy yesterday and forgot to ask you.
You sent me a message. I thought I replied. I have like 200 messages.
I don't
need
mean
to
to
get
put
back
you on
to.
the spot. Yeah.
But
Think about it.
I've been like super busy. I wouldn't mind it, but if anyone wants to take it, if nobody volunteers, I'll stay for another 6 months.
Okay, thank you. I know we're all really busy, and that's just part of life, I think, is that we have to squeeze in one more thing. We do. So I'll just leave it at that, and we will bring this up again next Friday, and because we have to be ready in January with who the board is and let Toastmasters International know. So that Lucille.
We voted before because we have to submit.
We have to submit in January.
So we have to vote before.
We'll vote before then. Yeah, for sure. Because also there's training in January, and if we don't have people in those roles, we can't send them for training. So put your thinking hat on and see if there's something you could do to help this club. We're having a lot of, I think it's a great thing to be in the leadership roles. It helps a lot. So I'll leave it at that. And then the last thing is next week we meet in person, of course. We have Devin as Toastmaster. We have Mike as Table Topics. Pamela is speaking. Did you know that? Hopefully. Okay. And then I'm speaker number 2. So you and I. Christiana is Evaluator 1 and Deanna is Evaluator 2. We have an opening for Grammarian. We have Angel for Awe Counter, Lucille for Timer. We are open for General Evaluator, and we need a Joke Master. So there's 3 that are not filled, and that's Grammarian, General Evaluator, and Joke Master. Anybody willing to jump in? Yes?
I'll be a Joke Master.
You'll be Joke Master. Okay, that's a good one.
Oh,
And-
fill in for grammarian, Stacy.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Alex. And so there's only one left. That's general evaluator. Come on, let's fill it up. Come on. I see Deanna twitching her head.
I was just gonna say, if you want me to do general evaluator, I can swap. That way somebody else can be evaluated.
Oh, yeah, because you're on evaluator.
Since I did it today.
Right. Well, why don't we make you general evaluator and we'll let somebody else step up for.
Okay,
How's that? Okay.
sounds good.
Okay. So we just need evaluator too. Maybe we'll hit up Paul for that or something. So I of course will send it.
Charles. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's Charles. Yeah. It's a good thing to practice as the evaluator role.
If I have to check my schedule. If I can make it, then I'll sign up.
Okay. Well, I hope you can. And we are at 1:03, and I believe I've said everything I want to say. Yeah. Does anybody have any announcements? No announcements? No fun stuff this weekend? Okay. Well, thank you for coming. I will adjourn this meeting. And if you want to stay on and chat, feel free. Thank you.
Thank